Alrighty. Let's rank all 4 of the Jeepers Creepers movies, baby. Let's get into it.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're going to be ranking all 4 of the Jeepers Creepers movies with the recent movie that just released, these past couple of days, essentially. If you guys want to check out my review of Jeepers Creepers Reborn, make sure to check that out by clicking on this little card up here. Before we get into this ranking too, if you guys could like this video and subscribe to this channel, I would greatly appreciate that. So getting into this, coming in 4th place is Jeepers Creepers 3. This is a movie that is, in my opinion, completely pointless, pretty boring, and way too damn long. Justin Long, in fact? He's not in this movie. In the very weird timeline of the Jeepers Creepers movies, Jeepers Creepers 3 takes place right smack dab in the middle of 1 and 2. And it kind of explains some stuff about the creeper, but I don't think any of this has any points or was completely necessary. If anything, all this over-explaining offers us more plot holes which don't make too much sense. Like, we see a creeper in this movie that is way more overpowered than how he was in Jeepers Creepers 2, which once again, chronologically, takes place after the events of this movie. We see the creeper's truck do things it's never done in any of the other movies. Once again, something that doesn't make sense for 2. And overall, this movie just kind of sucks. It's just boring. It's not fun. It's a slog. It's an hour and 40 when it probably should be like 80 minutes. I don't know. This movie is just completely pointless to me. I don't get why this was even made. Why didn't they just continue it after 2? I don't fucking know. I also just hate this movie especially because when this came out, I was gonna go see it, but then I found out all that stuff about Victor Salva. This was the turning point for me, and it was just like so disappointing that these beloved movies of mine were directed by a fuckhead. But now getting into the 3rd place, we're talking about Jeepers Creepers Reborn, a movie that is also bad, but for different reasons. If you want to see a more in-depth review of Jeepers Creepers Reborn that I just posted today, check out this video up here again, but just to give you kind of a summary, I think that this is an objectively bad movie because it's just not written very well. The characters are all over the place. The effects are the worst I've ever seen in a movie ever. Like, this tops the Spawn movie, which, man, that was pretty bad back in '97, but this is a movie that came out in 2022, and it looks worse than that. There are a few positives about this movie. Like, I actually like the guy's performance as the creeper. Like, it's not bad, different than Jonathan Breck, but it's not bad. I'll take it. You know, it's serviceable. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. I thought it was going to be worse. The effects are still pretty bad, like I said, even for the practical stuff with the creeper. Like, his mask is very clearly made out of rubber. There's one point where he has like this little horn on his chin and he kind of like bats it and it looks like a door stopper, like going like this. Sidney Craven is really the only actor I want to praise in this film, but in all fairness, I think that this is much more of a problem with the overall direction done by Timo Varensola in an abysmal way. I kind of had fun with Jeepers Creepers Reborn, but it is just a bad movie that is all over the place and is uneven as fuck. Coming in 2nd place, which will probably surprise a lot of people, is the original Jeepers Creepers. This is actually a pretty well-made movie. I have some conspiracy theories about it that I don't want to share yet because I'm just not 100% on everything I feel about it, but I do feel like I would accredit most of this movie's success not to Victor Salva, but to somebody else who was attached to it. Once again, not very confident in that conspiracy theory yet. Maybe I make that video sometime in the future, though. The original Jeepers Creepers was kind of a big hit. It has some awesome and very gorgeous shots, as well as a little touch of meta humor that I think is done actually really well. And I also want to praise the performances of Justin Long, Gina Phillips, and Jonathan Breck, who are fantastic in this movie. It also has a really disturbing ending that's nice, too, where you get to see the body of Justin Long and his eyes are all cut out. I remember that fucking me up as a kid. Like, that really scared the hell out of me. I wouldn't credit anything good about this movie to Victor Salva, though, because we saw what he did on his own with Jeepers Creepers 3. But coming in 1st place on this list is Jeepers Creepers 2, a movie that is very close and near and dear to my heart because I saw it at a very young age. It was one of the first movies to really scare the fuck out of me because it does center around younger teenagers, and like, I could relate to that as a young kid, I guess. This is a hot take, but I think the story of this movie is way better than the first one. Like, it's so much more intriguing to see this movie start off with a kid getting captured by the creeper, and then to see the family just like lose their minds over it. Like, it's just like, oh my god, this is such a tragic thing that happened out of nowhere, and then that progresses with the rest of the storyline as well. There's a nice little dueling plot happening here that is so much more complex than the original film. I really like this film a lot more than the first one. I feel like it also captures this southern aesthetic that the first one didn't really capitalize on. Like, the first movie's great. I think it has some really nice sequences and it's a really scary movie, but this movie I just feel like is so much more specific and has a certain vibe that the first one doesn't have. have that really separates this one from that movie. Being trapped in a school bus is also really terrifying. I think all of the sequences with that, and Jonathan Brecht's performance here is the best out of any of these movies by far. When he's taunting all the kids in there and he's like waving his finger back and forth, that's so creepy, but also kind of silly too. It's a really nice mix of tone here. We also get to see the creeper like literally lose his head and then he replaces it with the head of a dead body, which is awesome. I think that's a really scary sequence too. It's like, how the fuck do you kill this thing? What? The creeper is overpowered, but not as much as he is in Jeepers Creepers 3, which is once again a problem I have with that third film. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. I just kind of ignore that. That film just doesn't exist in my opinion. This film also has a really epic ending that leads into one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen in a movie, and I'm so sad that Reborn didn't really do anything with that, because that's such a shame and such a missed opportunity. The Taggarts are also played really well. The eldest, played by Ray Wise, who's fantastic in this role, especially in this ending sequence where he's waiting for the creeper to wake up. It's such a shame that we didn't get to see the creeper rip him apart in this new movie. Like, what the fuck? That should have been the opening scene of this new movie. I also gotta admit, I'm kind of blinded by nostalgia here. I just really like this second film the most because it's the first one I saw from this franchise. Like I said earlier, it's one of the first movies I ever, first horror movies I ever saw as a kid, and it scared the heck out of me. Like, that scene where the kid gets captured, that fucked me up as a kid. I lost a lot of sleep over this movie. But how would you guys rank the Jeepers Creepers movies? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this brand new ranking video of all 4 of the Jeepers Creepers movies. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. If you want to support this page further, you can support me on Patreon or become a channel member by clicking that join button on my page. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.